says a lot about who we have on our team, coaches and players and guys banding together. It's very significant in this day and age where it's easy to give up. It's easy to quit. It's easy to point fingers. It's easy not to give that great effort. It's easy to spread apart, and our guys did none of that. So it says a lot about who we are. Not to mention this football game. To be down 2 scores late in the game looks like it's over. Guys are banged up. Guys are in a little bit of pain. And they go back and fight back and make it a tight game and give ourselves an opportunity. That being said, bottom line is we had opportunities and we didn't make enough plays. We made enough plays to keep it close and not enough plays to win. The sequence of 4th and 1 on the 1 to take the lead in the Pac-12 Championship game, I mean, there's no hesitation at all. That's what we're going to do. Got 4 minutes left. If we don't get it, we got them backed up. And hopefully defense can stop them. We get the ball back and in good field position for a touchdown or field goal. I mean, there's no question about it. There's no hesitation on my part at all. That's just what you do. Bottom line is we didn't get to play on offense. We didn't get to stop on defense. We came back and fought it and made it made it a game. But that's a pivotal part of the game and things that we can do better and that we need to do better. But give credit to those guys on the other side. USC made the plays. Sam Darnold stood in there and made some unbelievable throws. They made the plays to win the game. That being said, and I'll take these 2 guys to my left any day of the week. Toughness, heart, effort. It's just unmatched. And I'm so proud of these guys. And we'll take a little bit of a rest here after this, and then we'll get ready for the bowl game. So, questions?
All right, we'll take questions. We have handheld microphones. Please raise your hand. We'll get the microphone so we can hear the question.
These questions for the players or?
Yes, please.
Okay. Bryce, how was your ankle? You had a 53-yard run, but how was your ankle in this game?
It felt good going in. It's doing fine.
Harrison, you gave up 501 yards as a defense today, but how do you think you played? The game went right down to the final minute.
Obviously, we didn't execute at a high enough level to get the win, and that's our goal. I wanted to hold them under 17 points, and we didn't get that goal either. And so it just wasn't the Stanford defense that we needed to play in order to get the win. A lot of big plays that we just can't have. We got to win on the early downs so we can force long 3rd downs.
Bryce, you said your ankle was fine going in, but you limped off there on that final drive when you guys were going down to maybe take the lead, and you didn't come back for a couple plays. How was it at that point? Did you have any push left, or tell us what happened there?
Just part of the game. I mean, just going through the injury, things like that will happen, and it's just gotta wait for it to come back, and that's pretty much it.
Let's do this. Any injury questions, ask me. I'll answer those. Thank you.
Coach, you had just 3 penalties in the first half, but they all came on one drive. And one was an unsportsmanlike on Perez. I was just wondering what your reaction was to those 3.
Uncharacteristic by us. There's still, some of those are obvious calls, and some of those are judgment calls. A lot of things happen in the pile, and I didn't see it per se. And the description I got was understandable. And all I'll ask there is to make sure that we're consistent, calling them on both sides. Like I said, I didn't see it, so I can't give you a true evaluation, and I understand what was told to me, what happened. But like I said, that's a judgment call if an official thinks that one of our guys crossed the line.
Coach, a couple questions for you then on Bryce. One is, can you just comment on his game tonight? He continues to deliver for you guys. But then secondly, on those last 2 plays from the 1, did you feel like he wasn't healthy enough to be on the field?
No, that's not the case at all. We have our Schwartz goal line package that we've been using all year, and we went to that. As for Bryce, who knows what percentage? Every time you ask him, Bryce says 90%, even when it's not. But the bottom line is our doctors and trainers are watching him all the time. If there's something he can't do, then we won't ask him to do it. If he can push off, he can explode, then he'll go out there and play because that's what he is. He's a tough human being. He loves to play the game, and he's outstanding at it. That being said, he's outrushed a lot of football teams on 1.5 ankles. Not individuals. Yeah, outrushed entire football teams in the last 6 weeks or whatever it is. That's a combination of ability, toughness, heart, character, all those things rolled into one. And I have so much respect for who he is as a man as well as what he is as a football player.
Coach, the sequence that you've been talking about in the goal line plays, before and after the late hit on SC, you stuck to the ground even when Bryce went out. Was that just your Stanford's identity and that's what you're going to do down there? What was your thinking?
Well, it's a combination of what they're playing and what we're doing. We did have a pass play called before a timeout, and then we came back and switched it back to a run based on the look that they gave us. There were things that they were doing if we were. I mean, we're 6 inches away from popping each one of those, and we work so hard at that, and we're so good at that short arch goal line part of our game. Like I said, it's a no-brainer, because if you don't get it, you're on the 1 yard line, and the defense gets a stop, and you get the ball back at the 50, if not the plus 45, and you go back at it again.
Coach, you talked about in the first matchup with USC, the pass pro needed to be better. How would you evaluate it tonight and the complication of Devery having to go down and that changing up your lineup for the last half?
The word that you'll keep hearing me say, what I said in our locker room, is character. And, Devery, like a lot of guys, late in the year, guys were banged up. And he went out there and he battled, and he got hurt. We take him back to reevaluate him. We throw guys in there. And Brandon Fanica goes in there and plays well. So everyone goes back out there, can go for a little bit longer, can't go, comes back out. I thought the pass protection was good. That was much better than the first game that we played. Could always be better. But I thought our quarterback had time to play, in particular at the end of the game when we needed to have it. We got a couple of balls batted, but these guys are probably the best in the nation at batting balls. They do it to everybody. But we got the protection. Quarterback pushed up in the pocket and made some great throws. And JJ and Caden, and in particular, a bunch of other guys made plays to make it a close game.
Coach, I wonder if you could comment on Sam Darnold's play. He had 2 300-yard passing performances against you this year. What
Not
about
just
his
us.
play?
Not just us.
What about this game?
He's an outstanding quarterback. He's extremely accurate, and what he does, I think, so well. 2 things in particular is that he operates in a very, very small space in the pocket, and there are a couple of times we're bearing down on him. We're just about to hit him, and he gets the ball out. Second thing, which I think is the absolute best in the nation and one of the best I've really seen since Andrew Luck, is the time between he sees it and when the ball gets out of his hands. That's one of the things as an NFL scout, an NFL coach, as you look at, as I did for all those years in the NFL, when he sees it and that ball it's already in motion getting out. It's that quickness of his trigger. That's impressive. That being said, we put pressure on, we made him move. We had a couple opportunities to take the ball away, and we didn't take advantage of those, and a guy like this will make you pay.
Couldn't tell from the press box, but it looked like the wind was blowing pretty hard out there. Was that a big factor in the play calling? Wind?
Not at all.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
The flag.
Yeah, no issues at all with that. And I think both sides have quarterbacks with strong arms that can cut the wind, even if there was some wind out there.
David, Heisman votes are due by Monday, I believe. Does Bryce have a legitimate shot at that? And do you think that character should be part of that vote?
You're just asking loaded questions, aren't you? Loaded questions. Well, let's just say this. I don't have a Heisman vote, so I'm not going to talk about those that do. And they can vote whoever they want. I'll put our guys' performance. I'll put our guys' character. I'll put our guys' records that he's broken this year. Another run over 50 yards. I think it's 12 for the year, most in the history of the NCAA. What he's done on one leg, it's unheard of. I don't know if I've ever seen it happen before. So people can vote their conscience, and that's fine. I don't care. I put my arm around this guy and put him up in front of anybody. Not to mention, what he does academically. This is, the guys that we have here are so proud of all of them, in particular Bryce, of being that young man that you want college football to be about, and you want to point to and say, to my 2 young sons that I have, and say, be like him.
Any further questions? All right, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, joining us is quarterback Sam Darnold, the game's MVP, head coach Clay Helton, and joining us shortly will be senior linebacker Uchenna Nwosu. Coach, could you please make an opening remark?
Yes, sir. Glory to God and a bunch of great kids. Been an absolute honor to be around this group of men, both as a staff as well as players. And this football family, for what it's accomplished this year, their 11th win, to be back as Pac-12 champs since 2008. I couldn't be more proud of a group and proud to be associated with them. I thought it was a very, very hard-fought game, a great game by both schools. Credit Coach Shaw and Stanford. They played their hearts out, absolute hearts out. So proud. This was a team effort, and these guys found a way. We said that failure was not an option when we began the day, and to see that defensive stand on the goal line, to see a 99-yard drive to take the lead, these kids win games, players win games. So I'll let y'all talk to them and ask them questions. If you got it from me, you feel free to ask, but these guys got it done.
Go ahead and take questions. Please raise your hand. We have handheld microphones. We'd like to hear the questions, please.
Coach, on 4th and 2, were you going for it all the way?
Yes.
And just kind of describe what you were thinking, for that
Wanted
play.
to control our own destiny. We were playing for a Pac-12 title, and there was no question in my mind that we were going to go for it and end the game right there.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Can you walk us through your emotions on that 4th down stop on the other end?
I think just being prideful. I don't know how many snaps that we were down there. We end up getting a penalty that puts them on the 6, and then they get down to look like the 1-inch line and a hold right there. I mean, you're talking about one of the best short yardage run teams there is in the world. And for our defense to hold the line, not once but twice there on the 1, man, just they found a way. Proud of these guys. They're unbelievable.
And Uchenna, you made the play on that play. Can you walk us through what you saw pre-snap and kind of how the play kind of transpired?
Well, we saw the offensive line and the tight ends kind of squeezed down, so we knew it was going to be a type of a tight run. So we told our guys hunker down. This is what Trojan football is, and we was able to make the play for our family and our friends.
Coach, did you feel like this game was sort of like a microcosm of the season where things didn't exactly go right the whole time, but you were able to pull it out in the end?
Sam and I were just talking. We just find ways to win as a football team, and it's hard to win in the Pac-12. You've got 9 teams that are bowl eligible, and Stanford is a class act bunch that wanted a championship just as bad as us. We knew it would be a 4th quarter game. It would be 4 quarters. And credit to these guys. I mean, you go all the way through the season. How they just finish games is amazing to me. They're the best finishing bunch I've been associated with in my 23 years of college coaching. They just find ways to win, and that's the name of the game. Nobody will remember the scores 10 years from now, but they will remember that these kids were Pac-12 champions.
Clay, do you think that the 4th down defensive goal line stand and the ensuing 99-yard drive were the 2 basic plays of the year?
I would say no question. I mean, just it was time to dig deep. It was time to dig deep and win a championship. And when you're trying to win one, those are the plays that are going to define you and define your football team. And that's these kids. We live in a high-pressure world of great expectations on the brightest stage, brightest lights, only game on in the world tonight. And these kids stood up on a goal line stand and then decided to go 99 yards to finish the game. That defines who they are. They are the definition of fight on.
And also, at the end there, when you needed that 1st down, you called a pass play.
Yes.
I think to follow. Kind of take us through the mindset of that.
Yeah, I thought, Teague makes a great call. We had talked about prior to that get our best 3 run plays and our best naked. Because we wanted to give Sam a run-pass option and to be able to flood the field if needed. And that's what you saw. We had a 3 tight end package in, a heavy set, and a terrific job by Sam, breaking contain, going through his progression, and getting it to Josh Follow. How about a true freshman to end the game for a Pac-12 title? That's really cool, really cool.
Hey, congratulations, all you men. Sam, good news is right after they stop on 4th and 1, you got the ball back, but take us through your mindset. It almost looked like you got sacked on that 50-yard play, just kind of what you saw.
Yeah, so it was a sluggo seam concept, and I saw Steven kind of beat the corner on the sluggo at first, and then he kind of got held up a little bit, and just decided to move up in the pocket, kind of sent some guys around me, and so I moved up and found Pitt down the field. I was going to pull it down and run, but kind of flashed in my vision there, and I found him.
Michael had a great game, Sam. Breakout performance for him. Do you is that something representative of who he is as a player? Are we going to see more of that?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I think that's kind of true with everyone, all the receivers, honestly. All of them are capable of having breakout performances and having great games. It was just, Pitt's night, I think, and other guys stepped up in different areas, whether it was blocking or whether it was pass catching. So I just think it was a great team win and something I'll never forget.
Sam, back in the summer, you mentioned developing chemistry with the wide receivers as kind of being a priority.
Yeah.
At what point did you start to kind of feel it click with some of those young guys like Tyler and Pittman?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier in the week. I think, Tyler really clicked after the Washington State game, and then Pitt had his moments in games and started to get him the ball a little bit, and then, just following the lead of guys like, Jalen Green, Deontay, and Steven, the older guys of the group. It was they showed great leadership throughout the year. And it was just an awesome end of the season, seeing Pitt do what he did, and then Tyler coming up big, and then Deontay obviously coming up huge all year. So credit to those guys.
Coach, at halftime, you guys had effectually dominated the first half, and maybe the scoreboard didn't reflect it. Mm-hmm. What did you tell your guys about what was going on?
Well, really, you're sitting there, and it was a 3-point game. And when you look at the stats, it was really a ball possession game. If you look at both sides, both of us were in backed-up territory the entire game because there wasn't a lot of turnovers. We finally gave one up that provided great field position for them. But, you're sitting there, and really, we had driven the ball. We had scored. There wasn't a lot of possessions in that first half. And the one thing that I thought our defense got better at is, just some big plays had hurt us. Clancy had the perfect coverage called for the long pass down the boundary. The safety was over top. We just didn't come up with the play. They had made 2 drives, and it's 17-14 in the Pac-12 Championship. You're up 3. You got 30 minutes to play. Just make the corrections that need to be corrected, and let's finish the game. Was a simple statement. I thought the adjustments on both sides by both coordinators were fabulous as they went to the second half.
Sam, you had an incredible game last year in the Rose Bowl. Dramatic ending, but this was for a championship. Mm-hmm. Compare the two, and how much does this championship mean to you and your team?
Yeah, right now, this means the most in the world right now, and it's special to see how far we've come as a team, and this is definitely winning a Pac-12 championship is our goal at the beginning of the year, and we achieved that goal. So I'm really excited for what's to come, and however we get ranked it's not up to us, but we're just gonna continue to compete, and that's all we can do.
Sam, in practice this week, you were talking about how good and strong and fast the Stanford defense was. How different were they compared to the first meeting of the year? How do you see them?
Same personnel, a little mix up there in the back end, but I think they continue to play hard. Both matchups, I think they're just a bunch that gives it 100%. They always, come out ready to play. And I think we were ready to play the first time, obviously, and then the second time around, we came out ready to play again. And I think that's just such a credit to, our offensive line being able to handle those big guys up front and the front 7 of Stanford. It's always a tough job to do that. And our O-line really stepped up, and, Ronald Jones running the ball was obviously amazing, as always.
Uchenna, what's the challenge of going against an offense, especially when you played them earlier in the season, trying to match up with differences and similarities?
Just trying to figure out what they know. I know they studied a lot of tape on me. It's on the film tonight. They're just trying to find a new way to beat them. Just trying to find a new way to get around them, trying to find a new way to get under their skin any way possible. So biggest challenge for me.
Any other questions? Got one more right here.
I just want to ask if you wanted to make a case, Coach, for you guys in the Final Four.
Mhm. Yeah, you know, you're sitting here as a champion. I think that's important. You know, there are going to be a lot of games that happen tomorrow that are going to decide the future for a lot of football teams. But we sit here with 11 wins. We sit here as a conference champion. We sit here with an unbelievable strength of schedule, and have the opportunity to show on national TV, I think we were the only game on, who we are. Obviously, the reality is we'll need some help. But if you look up and there's 4 teams that are 2-loss champions, conference champions, I think we deserve to be in the discussion, especially the way these guys have finished the season. They're hot right now and they're playing good football.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.